Hi, this is Tina here from Under 3 Acres, and today I'm going to show you how I can coleslaw. So for this recipe, you're going to need 3 cabbages, 3 carrots, and 3 onions, salt, and some other things. I'll get to those later. But so for this recipe in particular, I've got 6 cabbages that are a bit bigger than usual, and 6 onions and 6 carrots, and we're going to do this big mega lots because we're a big mega lots kind of family. So I've started peeling the outer layers of the cabbage. We're gonna shred these all up, shred up the carrots, shred up the onions, and then we're gonna get those soaking in this big bowl here, the 16-quart bowl, over lunchtime, around lunch, and then we'll come back and we'll get the vinegar, what do you call it? The dressing, I guess is what we call it, the dressing made up, and then we're gonna get them in jars. So let's get going. First things first, I'm getting these to fit into the food processor. I'm just gonna rough cut these ones. Last year when we did our mega canning haul, we had really big heads of cabbage, and we started out by doing it with a hand grater, you know, the little metal ones. Yeah, we're doing too much to do that. We got tired of it, and then I think we just pulled out the big food processor. Okay, so we got our first cabbage ready to go. Great if you needed something really quick, or I didn't have really planned ahead, and then it's like, oh, what can we make as a side dish instead of having to cook something? It was really, really nice. To just crack open a jar, you can add a little bit of oil to it or a little bit of mayonnaise. We're a gluten-free family, so not all of us can do mayonnaise. So we didn't add very much, but you can add a little bit of oil or a little bit of mayonnaise to tone down the vinegar taste. It is quite strong with the vinegar, but it made it really quick, really easy, and it was also something that you could take to a potluck in a pinch, or if you needed something in a pinch. That's what I liked about this recipe, and because it was a great family hit, we were doing a lot more this year so that we have more to have there. It's a quick, like I said, it's a quick side dish. Cabbage is really good for you, and yeah, we're German, so go figure. I'm gonna be making some Apfelrotkohl in one of the upcoming videos, where it's a German apple and red cabbage, and you can can that as well. We really like that, but the imports of that are really expensive for a little, I don't know if it's slightly bigger than a quart, or pint, not a quart, it's a pint jar, and it's like, I think $5 or $6, so I'm gonna just make that myself this year.
Is that pickled or fermented?
It's pickled. This is pickled as well. So this is a low acid vegetable, but because we're pickling it, it's completely safe. And while I've got all this going here, we also have our jars in the oven. Normally I sterilize in a pot on the stove, but because I'm trying to do such a large batch and I don't want to be stopping and starting, I put them in the oven to sterilize. Now, there is a little bit of debate on whether or not that's safe or not, but I can't remember the name of the website, I'll link it below, about safe canning and all that kind of stuff. All the guidelines they have is if it's going to be processed for longer than 10 minutes, you don't need to sterilize the jars. But because we're putting hot liquid, like this is going to have hot liquid added to this, and we're going to put them in the jars, I don't want cold jars, I want hot jars. So whether or not they're sterilized or not, I don't know. I'm just trying to follow guidelines and keep it safe. Last year, I think we boiled the jars. I didn't put them in the oven, but because I want to do a larger amount this year at a time. My canner only holds 7 jars, so I can only process 7 at a time, but I'd like to have them already packed and ready to go in the full amount, if that's possible. We'll see. Let's keep going. And our bowl of waste here isn't really waste. It's going to be fed to the chickens and to the pigs, and they will really love it. But if you don't have chickens or pigs, you can just put it in your compost. It's not a waste at all. We try not to waste anything around here, and if it can be fed to an animal, then we feed it to an animal. So in this recipe, it calls for 3 cabbages, 3 onions. So we're using, in that bowl, 4 cabbages and 4 onions. And they're really strong. It also says that you can use optional, can't see anymore, 2 green peppers in this recipe, but because my daughter can't do nightshades, we don't do nightshades, so we're omitting those, but it says it's optional in the original recipe. Can't see. So we just want the sugar to dissolve and all of the ingredients to dissolve. All right, so just put that here. So we're gonna get our coleslaw drained here. I just stirred it up a little bit. Now, there's not a lot of liquid in the top little bit, so I think that's pretty good. But once you get down to the bottom, you see there's quite a bit of liquid in there. You definitely want that out. Last year we did it by hand, we just squeezed it. I think is what we did. Check the footage. And we're just going to want to squeeze out all of the liquid. Two pots going, one for the bigger bowl and one for the smaller bowl. We'll pour it over top of the strained coleslaw, and then we'll put it in the jars. All right, so I've mixed the dressing in, and I'm going to just start filling my jars.
Nice one.
So now I'm just filling the jars to a 1/2-inch head space. Okay, so I'm just wiping the rim here, clean cloth, grabbing one of my lids that was in boiling water. Got a golden lid. Go. One done and many more to go. Our water is just starting to boil here. I just put the timer on. When you're at sea level, you can do the quart jars, this size of jar here, for 20 minutes, and the pint jars, the smaller jars, the 500 ml jars, for 15 minutes, but because we're at a higher altitude, I'll have to do those longer. I'll leave a link in the description box below where you can find out what altitude you're at and make sure, and I'll give you the other link that'll tell you how long it has to be boiled for, depending on your altitude. The original recipe makes 8 pints, but because we're a large family, we did quart size. So we have 12 quarts in total from the 6 cabbages. The original recipe called for 3 cabbages, so that would have been 4 quarts. So I'll leave the recipe down below with the original amounts, and then you can adjust based on the size of your family and enjoy. I hope you like this recipe, and if you like this video, please hit the like button, leave us some comments, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.